today's class, sorry. It's another time again for us to go through some. So today, as agreed on, we are going to do a new topic, right? And it's going to be on division of labor and specialization. I don't know what's wrong with the voice. So it's going to be on division of labor and then specialization. It's not that much of a topic, so we are going to finish very soon. So we won't take much time as we did last weekend. But the topic we are treating for today is not that long. Okay. So division of labor and specialization. So you want to find out what we mean by division of labor. So if you are here, you let me know you are here by say a hi or something for me to know that you are here. Okay. So you want to find out first what we mean by division of labor. What do we mean by division of labor? Division of labor is a breakdown of production process into what? Smaller processes. Breaking down of production process into smaller processes, with each process handled by a worker or group of workers. So we are saying that division of labor, it is the breaking down of the production process into smaller processes, with each process handled by a group of what? Laborers or a group of workers or a worker. What we mean by this is that if you have a whole work, right? If you have a whole chain of production, so per se, let's say that your production process is maybe cooking rice, right? Your process is cooking rice. That's a whole production process. You want to break that process down into smaller processes, and you assign people or a person to take each process you are breaking down. That you are doing is called division of labor. It's simply division of labor. So in the rice example that I'm giving, for instance, you can decide that, okay, cooking rice, you need the rice to be washed, put on fire, boiled, and then served. You can decide to say, okay, it's a whole process by itself. So you want to divide that process. What you can do is that, okay, someone can be in charge of washing the rice, someone can be in charge of making a fire, another person can be in charge of maybe doing the cooking itself, and another person can also be in charge of maybe serving it. So that thing you have done is called division of labor. If you are here, you let me know by saying hi for me to know that you are here. Okay. So division of labor, as I'm repeating again, right, is the breaking down of production process of a production process, right, into smaller processes, with each process being handled by a worker or group of workers. So that is what we call division of labor. So as I said in the introduction, that we're going to do division of labor and specialization. It's just a short topic, but the way they like asking questions, there's so many past questions on it. So at the end of today's class, right, I'll put the slides on the platform. And in the slides, I've noted some past questions that are on there. So you try and you see that there are so many questions on division of labor. It's so cheap. So I don't see why we don't take the opportunity to at least to know these simple things, right? So once we are done with this, you should be able to answer any question on division of labor and specialization. So I have just explained division of labor. That is what is the breaking down, like dividing work. So breaking down of production process into smaller processes. Hi, so I can see Jeffy. Jeffy say hi. Okay. And then into smaller processes, with each process being handled by a worker or a group of workers. So you can sometimes assign a group of workers to a particular line of production, or even only one worker, depending on how big your production process is. So you can normally see this. Even this one is common everywhere. Basically, you can even see this in your various homes. In Form 1, I don't know whether you have done it or your juniors. We ask them that where does economy start from? It starts from home. So you can see that everything you're doing is like from your home. For instance, let's take like you are in a house where you have 3 or 4 siblings. If mommy and daddy wake up in the morning and then they leave you to do the work. Maybe because you're on vacation now, you're home now. You tell yourself that, oh, when you wake up, you just find yourself to do what you can do and go. But if mommy and daddy want to keep peace in the house, you can use this we call division of labor. Or if you don't do it, you can even call mommy and daddy and suggest it to them. Mommy, why don't you divide the labor to make it easy for us? That means that when you wake up in the morning, probably they can share and say that your brother is in charge of sweeping your bedrooms, whilst you are in charge of sweeping outside. Another person is in charge of the bowls, washing bowls, and then maybe on weekends one of you could be in charge of washing, or you share the work. This weekend I wash. So that's thing that your parent would have done. That I want you to be doing this every morning when you wake up. I want you to be doing that, sharing the work. That thing is called division of labor. So even in your home, it can be practiced. So right now, if you're not practicing your home and you are having problem fighting with your siblings, as to how to keep the home clean, or why you happen to be doing almost everything, your siblings will be complaining that why they are those to keep doing everything. Then what you can do is that suggest this for your parents, right? That they should use division of labor. Okay, so once you are doing division of labor, automatically you're going to get out of it what we call specialization. And we want to know what we mean by specialization, right? Specialization is the concentration of production efforts. So a person's production efforts, a firm, a country, on a given aspect of production for which the person has, or the country has, or that firm has a comparative advantage, or for which the firm or the person is best skilled. So repeating again, specialization is a concentration of productive efforts, right? Yes. I think this should be. Can I know where you are coming from so that I will know? Yes. Someone says hi. Okay. The name is not familiar, so it sounds like an Indian, if I'm right. Okay. So you want to say specialization, right? Okay. Okay. So hi. Okay. So this is, so we are saying that this is the concentration of, so specialization is the concentration of production efforts of an individual, a firm, a country on an aspect of production for which there is greater comparative advantage. I will explain what I mean by comparative advantage. I will explain that. Or for which he or she is best skilled. So the person or the country or the firm concentrates on a particular line of production. Okay. Okay, you do not. Okay, Iraha. Am I pronouncing the word Ira? Yeah, you. Okay, you're welcome to today's class. So we are saying that what we simply mean by specialization is that you concentrate a person, an individual, or a firm, or a country, or a region, right? Can concentrate on a particular aspect of production for which the person is best skilled at or has an advantage over, right? So for instance, if you say that you have comparative advantage, someone can say that, oh, for instance, okay, so you are 8, 8, okay, is it your age that is 8 or okay? So if we ask someone that, for instance, someone will say that he's a natural talker, he talks a lot, he's good at just talking, or she talks a lot. Because you talk a lot and you are very argumentative, the person can say, okay, probably he wants to study law. Why do you want to study law? Say, hey, me, I'm a good talker already. Me, and I like arguing. I like debating things. So I love that. So that person had that advantage, right? So that individual can decide to specialize in something we call law. You go and do law. Because you think that you have all the skills that can give you that advantage to do that job. You can do it better than someone who is like an introvert. He doesn't like talking, doesn't want to get involved in any issue. Right? And for instance, if you see someone who loves cooking, which I do, but sometimes my laziness doesn't, I would prefer sitting there for someone for me to eat. But anyway, that's not my way. But if I don't have a choice as a mother, I have to cook. So for instance, if you cook a lot, you're someone who loves cooking, right? It could be only okay if you decide that when you're sharing the work in the house or among your siblings, you choose the cooking part, because after all, you are okay, you are good at cooking already, so you have an advantage over, or maybe your other siblings who are not into so much cooking. So I hope you are seeing it. So if you're a country and then you realize that you have that advantage of producing a particular thing. For instance, we take Ghana as my country. We have an advantage that we can produce gold, not because we love producing gold, because naturally we have gold, so we have an advantage. So if you want to produce any mineral resource, we should, as easy as for us, we can easily venture into production of gold and other things that are easier for us to do. So that's what we call you having a comparative advantage. It's like your advantage over someone else, maybe who belongs to maybe Togo, who does they have phosphates. I don't know any other mineral they have anyway. Assuming they want to go into production of gold, which probably the land does not have. So it cannot do that. It's somehow impossible. But to Ghana, it will be easier because we have that advantage. So in that case, you can say Ghana can decide to specialize in the production of what? Cocoa. That's a country. Just as an individual, you can be specialized in a particular job you are good at. A country can also do same, and a firm can also do same. So that is what we call specialization. So I'll reiterate what I mean by specialization. If I'm talking fast, let me know so that I'll slow down. I'm a natural fast talker, so let's see. We mean that specialization is the concentration of productive effort of an individual, a firm, or a country on a given aspect of production for which there is greatest comparative advantage, or he or she is best skilled. I hope we understand. So if you use the home scenario, right, and then mommy, maybe you propose to mommy and daddy that as you, when you come home on vacation, your siblings don't want to help, they leave almost everything on you. Mommy and daddy decide to share the work in the house. You can decide to share it according to your abilities in the house. Maybe one of you loves sweeping, the other one loves cooking, the other one loves maybe cleaning stuff. So while sharing the work, mommy and daddy could also consider this. So by doing that, you, the one who loves cooking, you take the cooking as part of the job that is assigned to you. So in the division of labor, you get your specialization. That one is so because of the division of labor, we have specialization. I hope I've made my point clear. Okay. So we have seen what we mean by division of labor, and we said division of labor brings about specialization. However, these two terms are used interchangeably because, like, wherever you see division of labor, you see specialization. Whenever you see specialization, you see division of labor. But if there's no division of labor, there will not be specialization. You know, no specialization, division of labor cannot be, may not be possible. Okay, but automatically it will bring about. So you see that, see the two of them work together, they're like twins. So people normally interchange them. Oh, division of labor and specialization. But as I said in the definition, they are different. So you see in one of the past questions, right? For instance, I think in this year, Owasi private candidates, right? 2011, question 7. I think there's a question there. I'm not having my book with me, but I think there's a question there that says that differentiate between division of labor and specialization. So in that case, all you can do is to use what? You can just use the definitions. The definitions themselves are, the definitions are a difference by themselves. It gives you all the difference you need. So if you want to differentiate between division of labor and specialization, you can state that division of labor is the breaking down of production process into smaller processes for which each worker is assigned to a process, right? But division of labor is where the individual concentrates on one aspect of production process, right, after the division of labor is done. So that is what we can mean by the difference between division of labor and specialization. Now let's see this division of labor and specialization. Let's see whether it is important or whether there's any good thing you can get from it, right? If you think there's any advantage of it, you can let me know. Whether you think there's any advantage of it, you write it out for me, and so I'll see and mention your points. So whilst we are at it, let's see an advantage of division of labor, right? Division of labor, you can see that even when you apply to your home, like the example I gave, right, it brings about numerous or so many advantages. One of which I can say that if we taking it from the home, right? For the home one, I can say that it brings peace of mind. You stop fighting over who swept yesterday and then you are sweeping on today again. You are who did the dishes yesterday and there's a person doing the dishes. So instead of fighting about that, because you know that the work is divided, you're not going to fight. You know your job, you know what you're supposed to do. and then who is responsible for what if your parents come back, right? But let's bring it to a country or an industry setting, right? If you come to an industry, for instance, you want to find out some of the advantages of division of labor specialization, we can say that one advantage is that it encourages the use of machines. For instance, if there is no division of labor, some machines will not be created. Sorry. Whereas every machine we have is doing a specific job. We do a specific job because you do a specific job because we are supposed to have the machine doing something for us. And you cannot have a machine doing everything. Unlike these days, you people are so much into how do we call it, AI, right, stuff. So you have robots. Maybe you have this thing, an AI kitchen. Last time, out of laziness, I was asking someone that, so why won't you do this? And they said, oh, when we grow up, we will use AI machines. So we use AI machines. We are not going to. We use AI machines. We are not going to. How do we call it? Someone he did this thing. Okay. So we use AI machines. So because we use AI machines, we are not going to do all these jobs. So now you realize that the robots can do almost everything. But in this situation, when we have it in a company or in a country, because we have something called division of labor, we can create machines that will do that job. For instance, in your homes, if you want to wash bowls, right, you have a machine called a dishwasher. So it is specialized in washing dishes. You can see that because the work is divided, and there's an aspect called washing dishes. You can create a machine that washes dishes. If you want to wash your clothes, do laundry, you can have your washing machine. So that is specialized in washing, right? So if you don't have, that's for the home, right? If you come to the companies, you last time I was watching a production process, I think it was for a bottle. It was either how do you call it, drinks that they are doing, and then you had a machine that maybe you probably have to fill the bottles with the drinks. Another machine that closes the bottle, has the knot and closes all the bottles. Another one in charge of the labeling. So you can see that specific machines are created for specific job. Why? Because we have division of labor. So starting from your own homes, you can see so different machines, from your blenders to your washing machines to your dishwashers, or to what, even how do you call it, ladder, like spoon that you use. It's a machine, right? It's simple to, so you can use that. The spoon is probably meant to what, to fetch your food or whatever you use it for. So because we have division of labor, you can have machines created to do that. That tells you that it is possible for us to have machines to do jobs for us because we have division of labor and specialization. Another how do we call it, another advantage is that it saves time. What I mean by it saves time is that automatically, once you are given your job to do, for instance, let's use a home scenario, then we bring it to the industry or to the firm. If you use the home scenario, right, if you wake up and you are supposed to do the dishes yourself, wash your clothes, cook, do all those things, at the end of the day you are tired. Sometimes you leave some things undone. But when the job is divided, right, and your job is to cook, you know that on time, by the time it's time for supper, your food is cooked on time. But if you're the same person supposed to do everything, the work is not divided, you realize that sometimes you don't have constant time you eat your supper. So sometimes you may finish early, you may not finish early. Sometimes you finish with other jobs. When by the time it's supper time, you are tired. But when you bring that same situation to the industry or to a country level, we are saying that it saves time because if you a worker, you know that when you go to work, your job is to monitor probably the machines or that are in charge of bottling. So your focus is there. Because your focus is there, you will not be wasting time roaming about like, oh, assuming you're the only one checking on the bottling, checking on the covering, checking on labeling, you'll be running from one job to the other, one job to the other. So at the end, you don't do much. But once they divide labor and you are specialized, you are the one in charge of one particular thing in which you are specialized, you have all the time to do your job well. And once you are doing your job, you have all the time to concentrate on that particular job. You are able to do so many of that job at a shorter time. For instance, if in the company, for instance, you are working in a printing press or some place where they maybe prints documents, and you are in charge of stapling. As much as you keep doing the same thing over and over again, because that's the job they've allocated for you to be doing, you become skilled at it. Like you develop shorter ways of doing it, and by developing shorter ways of doing it, you see that you use within a short time, you're able to do a lot of work. So a lot of time is saved for you to do other things, right? So that's why we say that it saves what time as one of the advantages. And then another advantage is that I can see some of you, your network is going up and down. So don't worry, after the class you can still watch it, right? It will be there. So but if you have any questions as I am teaching, you can put it there and I'll answer you. Okay. The next advantage I want us to think of is that it reduces fatigue. At this point, I think I've mentioned how many have I mentioned. I want to know how many have I, so for me to know you're following. I've mentioned how many advantages. So let me know, I know that you're following me, so you're not just watching me. So let's see the third one I'm mentioning now. Oh, I just give you a clue. The third one I'm mentioning now is reduces fatigue. That once you, okay, Frederica. Yes, hi, Frederica. So when we say that division of labor and specialization reduces fatigue, fatigue means tiredness, right? When we say it reduces fatigue, what it means is that once you, this thing, you keep doing that thing over and over again, you get used to doing it. So you develop a skill of doing it such that when you're doing it, you don't even feel tired. You say, oh, I know how to do this fast. So right now you're done. You're done doing it. If it's in the house, you are the one who knows how to cook, who cooks for the house. Within a short time, you can see that in a short time you are done doing all the work as fast as possible because you know how to do it. That's the work you have been doing. And by doing that, you don't feel tired doing it already because you know that that's something you love doing already and that's your job. So as you keep doing it, you don't get tired. But can you imagine that you are the one who wake up in the morning and sweep and clean and wash, and at the end you end up being the one to cook again? You'll be tired. The same way when you go to work. If you go to work and you are in charge of supervision, you are in charge of checking on the cleaners, yes, making sure the place is clean. You are in charge of maybe typing letters and everything. You are in charge of you alone know everything. At the end of the day, you are tired. But once you know that this is the job you're supposed to do and you are specialized in the divided labor, you know that that's the job you're going to do. Because you are good at doing it, you do it without getting tired, right? Because you're not roaming around doing so many things. You are doing only one thing at a time. So in that situation, you will see that it reduces tiredness or fatigue. Okay, so that is one other advantage. So at this point, I think I've mentioned 3. So I want you to state the 3 that I've mentioned so far for me to see that you are following. So if you are following, state the 3 advantages I've stated so far for me to know you are following, right? Another advantage also is that it increases productivity. I think this one is obvious, right? If you are using now machines or even the work is divided, everybody is trying to do their work as fast as they can because they have mastered that job, the work, whatever work they are doing. At the end, they're able to produce a lot, and especially if it's in a firm. For that reason, assuming they have machines and they've divided the work, you see that because everybody's focused on their job. This is what assigned to me, and because I know that this is what they've assigned to me, they are going to ask me at the end of the day, what have you done? And you account for it and you're responsible for it. Everybody is serious with their job. At the end, you're able to produce so many things than when they leave their work and say, well, everybody has come to work. You have all come. Please make sure at the end of the day, can you imagine the boss? Imagine I'm a boss and I start, so I'm asking at the boss right now. Please make sure everybody produces, at least we all try at the end of the day to get 1,000 bottles of the drink we are producing. Have you heard? And say, yes, boss. Then people start playing around because they didn't divide the work for them. Someone will go and tell this one and say, me, I'm tired. I don't want to say, me, I'm tired. Okay. Yes, Sylvia says that it's reduced fatigue. Thank you. So that is one. So I want to mention the rest of the ones I've mentioned so far. So others can also mention the rest. Also, they can still mention more. So I don't want to be saying that, last time I'm the one who worked a lot and others didn't work a lot. So they're not going to, today they allow me to rest, so I'm not going to work. So at the end, the target was to get 1,000 bottles of the drink they're going to produce. They're not going to get it because the work was not divided and people don't know which work they are assigned to. And when a boss comes, who they will hold responsible? They hold everybody responsible, even including the one who worked hard. Just like at home, your parents didn't share the work and they left everything on you. Maybe the elderly one, thinking that, oh, you let your siblings come along and then you all do the work. They will say, oh, they are tired. When you went to school, you were in a boarding house, they were suffering you all this, so do it yourself. And then when your parents come, they will blame everybody. But probably you even helped try doing a lot of things. But in this situation, once the work is divided, you see that productivity will increase because everybody knows that when you come, they'll hold you responsible, especially in the firm. When the work is divided, because they depend on each other. For instance, if it's, let me use the bottling of the drinks, the production of drinks for you, for instance. If one person is supposed to make sure that the bottles are put into the kg square to be displayed for it to be filled, if that person fails their job, the next person cannot be able to do it. So for that reason, if they come and there's any blame, it will mean that that person didn't work well and that person will be the only one fired, right? But when the work is not divided, you see that at the end of the day, nothing is produced. That's why we say that when you divide labor, everybody works hard, but they are responsible for what they are being assigned to. At the end, productivity will increase. After all, they be masters in their field already, so it is easier for them to produce, right? The next point, that should be the how many points, right? Is it 3 or 4? I want to know you who are following. So that should be the 4th point, right? So state the point I've stated so far and let me see. So whilst I continue, so be stating the rest of one. The other one Sylvia stated is it reduces fatigue, which is only 1. So but I gave, I think, 3. This is the 4th one. So please state the other ones and let's see. The other one we are saying is that it leads to development of skills. For instance, when you get to a particular job workplace or you are in your home, right? If you are as lazy as I am and you don't like sweeping or you don't like washing bowls, and then your parents assign you that you are the one in charge of washing bowls, day 1 you could be like, this is a lot of work. Day 2, day 3, day 4, okay. So it saves time. Yes, that's a point 2. It saves time. Thank you very much. Okay. So that's point 2. So I gave you, I think this is the 4th point, and I'm getting to it's the 5th point. So start thinking of the other ones and add to it. The others, Frederica, I want you to also give me another one. And the others, please, I want you to talk for me to know that you are there. Okay, you type. You can't talk at this moment. So if you are doing the washing bowl thing, you are within a week time, it's like you become so skilled in your washing of the bowl. So you become like an expert in washing bowl. So when you are looking for someone who is an expert in bowl washing, I think you are the one who pass, right? So we are saying that it leads to development of skills. You keep doing one thing over and over again, you develop that skill. That's normally someone who has not really done it much will not be able to do. So it helps. If you bring this one to maybe an individual, right? If you are, you get yourself into a job, right? And then you keep doing that particular job assigned to over and over again, you develop that skill. So become an expert in it. So if you want anyone who will do that job best, you become the one because you do what? You have developed that skill. Because after all, you have been doing that thing over and over again. Another, well, I think that should be the 5th or the 6th one, is that it makes the production of standardized products possible. What do we mean by standardized products? It's like when you produce things, right? You see that normally, even when you go and buy soap or any brand of soap or anything you want, you go and buy, you see that the next time you go and buy that same type of soap, the size is the same, the packaging is the same. So let me use, okay, what you ladies like eating a lot? Cerelac. Babies who like eating Cerelac. So you guys said you like Cerelac. So let's take you take Cerelac, the sachet one, right? You go and buy one sachet. You see that one sachet when you hold it, and then the next day you come and buy another sachet again. Okay, it increases productivity. Okay, thank you. So how many have people stated? 1, 2, 3. That okay, so that is 3. So but I mentioned, is it 5 or 6? So this is the 5th or the 6th one. So I want the rest. Add the rest to it. So you notice that the one that you bought first has the same packaging, the same writing, the same everything, the same size, everything as the second one. the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one. The next month when you go, you get the same thing. Why are we saying that? It's because of division of labor and specialization. People are able to produce standardized. Standardized means that they are all the same in quality, in quantity, in shape, in everything. So that is why when you buy even soap, washing soap, you go and buy clay soft. If you buy the clay soft, not the bar one, the powdered one, right? If you buy it, you realize that that soap when you buy this month, the next month when you go and buy is the same size, the same shape, the same color, the same everything. Why? Because we have division of labor and specialization that has made sure that all the products they are producing are having the same standard. One doesn't look different from the other. Unlike if one person is supposed to do the one soap, finish and come do another one, to go to the point you realize that some part of the soap will be half. Some even when you let me use you for instance. If you cook in the house and you are serving, right? You're serving so many people. You think unless you probably use a measuring cup to be serving them, you see that if you are using your ladle or your spoon or spatula, okay, so it leads to development of skills. Okay, so that's how many people are stated. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. I think I mentioned 6, so I'm waiting for the rest. 5 or 6. So if you use a spoon, you realize that some people may get more than what others. Please tell someone can go to the platform and tell them that they shouldn't send me a message right now. They distrust my network. We are in class now. You can just click them on the link and join. They shouldn't send me a message. I beg them. If any of you can volunteer and go to the platform and tell them not to send me a message right now. They distrust my network. Thank you. So let's move on to what I said, that it's leads to standardization of what products. So if you see products being the same size, the same, depending on the size you're buying, being the same size, the same shape, the same everything, it is because we have division of labor and specialization. We have machines that are specialized in doing those things. So they do it perfectly well. So you see the products being the same throughout. If you buy clay soft in Ho, which is the Volta region of Ghana, where I'm talking from, right? You see that the size and everything is the same as when you buy it from Accra, Central region, Eastern, wherever you are. Why? Because they've produced them in a standardized form, same size, same shape. So you see details of this in the slides. So after the class, I'll post the slides on the platform. Okay. So I think these are few advantages I've stated. So Sylvia was able to get us 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth one, I'm waiting for someone else to give me. So please, I want someone else to give me the other ones. Right? But still, Sylvia, I can still mention it for us. I think today the class is on you. Last time they left it on Elo. So they left it on you. So please give us the fifth or the sixth one and let's see. So that being said, if you have any question, you can type the question for me to answer. If not, we can move to the disadvantages. Right? Today I said we are going to do division of labor and specialization. We're going to finish it. It's not something long for us to drag it and do it in two badges. So let's quickly see what the disadvantages of division of labor and specialization can bring us. Anything that has an advantage automatically has what? A disadvantage. So let's see what we mean by what are some of the disadvantages. Remember I said that because there's division of labor, you are assigned one work, a particular work, and that's what you do. So as a laborer that probably will be paid, right? If you're a laborer that will be paid, what will happen is that they gave you a particular job to do, and when you go to work every day, that's what you do. Every time, that's what you do. Do you know a time will come that if you had other skills that you know of that you're not using at work, you gradually forget about them and be specialized in only the one that you have been assigned to. So we can say that one of the advantages is that there's decline in skills or craftsmanship. So the skills that you have, assuming you are good at cooking, washing, doing all those things, and then all of a sudden you are assigned to only cooking. A time will come that you realize that you lose interest in all the other things that you used to do, like probably the sweeping and the washing, and all your focus is on now is the cooking aspect, because that's what you have been assigned to do. So a time will come that if they ask you to go and be cleaning, you find it as a huge job, something that you have done for a long time is so heavy on your hands. You have lost that skill, not because of anything, but because of division of labor. They gave you that aspect. So you always do what you are supposed to do. and naturally you end up losing those other skills that you had, right? And once you keep doing that, assuming that you were a worker, and then you are now specializing, maybe bottling, example. If a time comes and then we stop bottling, like those bottles have stopped, those things, like people stop demanding such things, and you lose your job, what will happen to you? You're going to look for a job, and they ask you, oh, what are your skills for? Can you do this and this? And I say, no, my skill is in so much about bottling. Oh, sorry, we don't need someone who's a bottler. If there's any other name, any name like a bottler. Or if you become specialized in one of the skills, and then the demand for that skill fades off. So that one you can see it's in this kind of unemployment, structural unemployment, right? If they don't need that skill anymore, what will happen is that you lose your job, and then you can't find any other job because that skill you have acquired now is obsolete. People don't need it anymore, don't need that skill anymore, so you become unemployed. So most of these things make people unemployed, especially if that skill no more needed. I remember you people didn't come to me those things. In those times we had something called typewriters, right? You hit, it's not, it looks like a keyboard, but they have a shape that you use to type the things. And then we have people who were secretaries and something. If you know, if you want to type something, you go to them and then they type for you and they give it to you and you go and do your whatever you want to do. Now people have computers at their phones. No one is going there to go and ask. So assuming that you are boasting that I am a perfect typewriter, I hope you are getting it. Once you boast in it, and now we don't need typewriters anymore, but people have bought their laptops, they are using their phones to do a lot of work and everything. And you are looking for a job and they ask you, um, what what skill do you have? Then you write on your CV or something that I'm a perfect typewriter. What will happen to you? Automatically you're out because they say they don't need your skill anymore. Why? Because they will ask you, is there no other thing you can do? Say, I'm not so good at those ones, but I'm very good at this. What caused you to lose your job and not to find one is that you have concentrated all your effort on one aspect, which was because of the vision of that. It was not your fault in any way. But at the end, it went against you because you lost all your other skills, and that has led you to be unemployed, right? Okay. Or sometimes too, let's take when individuals become maybe specialized. For instance, the last time I was asking that, as we're having this AI, so many AI things, I was asking one of the people that, what if we have AI like bot teachers who are bots, like robots. Probably can do all the job better than we are doing anyway. So you see them coming to the class and they are teaching, and then I come and I'm boasting, oh, I can do this, I can present this, I can do that. They say, oh, please, what you can do, we have bots that will do for us, so we don't need human beings anymore. I lose my job. Why have I lost a job? Because all my complaint is that I am a teacher. I don't know any, probably I don't know any other thing I could do. Probably before I became a teacher, probably I could be a cook, I could be a cleaner, I could have so many things. But since I've concentrated over the years on only teaching, I've lost all, maybe probably I've lost all the other skills, and I'm only a teacher. So when they say you don't need teachers anymore, you are now going to use robots, it means I've lost my job. I hope you are getting it. So it leads to unemployment. So once that skill of yours is no more demanded, then you lose your job. You become unemployed. And sometimes you can't find any other one because all you know how to do best is one particular skill. And when you don't need that skill, you don't get a job. Okay. Now let's see another disadvantage, which is the third one, right? I hope you are all listening. So please, if you remember the ones I've mentioned so far, please stay there for me to see. Sylvia has been so active today in class and I'm so happy. So I'm hoping that as if people are running shifts, if you are running shifts, let me know. Because you shift it to one person today, the next day to be another person who will be answering questions, another person will be answering questions. I want all of you to answer questions, okay? So make sure that you all answer the questions for me, okay? Okay. So let's see the other disadvantage is that it leads to too much interdependence. See, for instance, you go to, if you are, let me use the home first before you might move to a company or a firm. If you are home, right, and then they share the work for you, okay. So when you wake up, you know that you are supposed to clean, one person is supposed to clean, wash and everything. So you are dependent on that person who is for the house to be clean. You are all dependent on that person. If you wake up in the morning and that sibling who is in charge of sweeping, let's say for instance, it's not feeling well, I mean the whole house is going to be as dirty as possible until that person recovers. If not, someone else must take that position. That someone else will say that I'm not the one in charge of sweeping the house, so she's in charge or she's not feeling well. So and you don't have the skill to do that. So in that case, everything comes to a standstill. The house will be dirty. When we get to a company, let me use the bottling thing as an example. Assuming that we have one person in charge of bottling, so the one person in charge of fixing the bottles of the machine on the machines, right? Loading the machines with the bottle. Another person in charge of making sure that the machines fill the bottles with the drinks. Another person too is in charge of maybe covering the bottles, right? And the last person is in charge of labeling the bottles before we package it into the boxes. So let's assume you get to work, and the one for putting the machines there, the bottles, loading the bottles into the machine has done her job or his job. So the bottles are rolling, waiting for at this note, I want you to just go also on YouTube at your free time and just search for how bottled drinks are made in an industry. Right? You see nice videos. At this point, I can't share such videos with you. So I see nice videos and see how those things are done. And you appreciate what I'm saying right now. So are you assuming that that's even is a machine or a human being? The bottles are passed by. The bottles are being filled with the drinks. But the one to check on the covering is not there. You can imagine the drinks being packaged. Okay, so let me finish my point so that I'll get to your question. You can imagine drinks being packaged without being covered because the one who was supposed to check for the covering didn't come. Because each process depends on the other one. The one who puts the one who's supposed to fill the bottles is depending on the one who load the bottle to load it. And after loading, the one who's supposed to fill it also is waiting. After loading, he will fill it. Then after filling, the one who is supposed to cover the bottles, right? So depending on the one who will fill the bottles. So everybody is depending on each other. If one person, or assuming they are even in their machine, one of them fails, the entire process fails. So they are too much interdependent. Unlike if it was one person doing everything, the person will, at least whether someone comes or not, work will go on. But once one person doesn't come, it means the production just stops because the person is supposed to do this before I do that. If that person doesn't do their job, I can't do my own. So can you see? So it causes so much interdependency, which is dangerous. Sometimes it causes companies to lose millions of money because if one process fails, everything fails. Okay, let me get a question now. Sylvia says that, and please, which point are you talking about? So at this point, I'm talking about the disadvantages, and the point is there is too much interdependency. So when there's the division of labor, there is too much interdependency. The first point I stated was that there's decline or loss of craftsmanship or skills, loss of skills. That should be easier for you. And the point is that it encourages unemployment. Once you lose your job and no one requires that skill that you are specializing anymore, you are unemployed, right? The third one, I'm sure Sylvia is asking of, is that there is too much interdependency. Everybody is dependent on the other one to do their job before they can do their own. It's not their fault, because if you are supposed to be, assuming you're working with the where they print papers or something, and someone's supposed to print the thing, and you are supposed to staple. If you come and the person hasn't printed, you go to work and sit down from morning to evening because you tell your boss, why didn't you do any work today? Boss, please, you go and do the division of labor. I am in charge of stapling. Nothing has been printed for me to staple. So why is the one who is supposed to print? Oh, today he didn't come, or he was not feeling well, or he quit the job. Then you can see that there'll be a problem, right? So that is what we mean by there's too much interdependence. They depend on each other, which is a dangerous thing that no one wants to entertain. But after all, it is part of the division of labor. Once you go for division of labor and specialization, you are bound to face these issues. Now let's see another disadvantage. So as I'm saying, when we are done with the class, if you want me to post the slides on the platform today, let me know. Right? Whether you want me to post the slides on the platform after the class today, let me know. Or so if you want it today, you let me know. Or if not, probably yes. Once you're done with the class, I think I should just give it to you. Or what do you think? Let me know. So the other one I want to discuss is I think this should be Fourth one, right? There is risk associated with the use of machines, right? Oh, thank you for giving me a lot of that. I want more of that. so, so we are saying that once there is division of labor, right, and especially you are using a lot of machines, the problem you face is that you're going to sometimes have accidents with the machines. I mean accident, I don't mean a lorry accident in a car. In a car, sometimes you have, if you are assuming it's a knife, you can have the knife cutting you, right? Or let's say you are using machines. You have situations where you see people. I don't want to mention, when I think of it, it's so sad, right? People work with machines that are very sharp, right? It probably that are supposed to be cutting me. If it's last time I was watching a video with some of your colleagues, right? It's on how sausages are made. I love sausages a lot. I mean, the one we eat, I eat in roast it and I eat. Yes. So because of that, I wanted to find out how it was made to know that I'm eating something safe, right? And when I saw, you can see some of the machines blend and all those things. And sometimes you see human beings also controlling and adding stuff to the process, right? Assuming mistakenly your hand hits any of the machine, any of the blades, can you imagine what happened to you? So at workplace, you see some people lose their finger, some people hands get cut off, some people mistakenly anything. I don't want to say the worst things, right? So, and because they are machines, and if you find yourself in that accident, unless someone is there to help you, sometimes it can be fatal, right? And this is all in the name of us using what? Machines. Because the division of labor and the specialization, and then there is machines. For instance, let's take for instance, you are in the house and you are blending. I don't advise anyone to do that. No one should do that. You are blending something, and instead of you to use a spatula or something to maybe make sure that all the particles are blended well for you, you have to use your hand to push it. You can imagine what will happen to your hand. I'm not sure any of you try that. Please don't try it. Don't try it. I want your hand to be whole. When you come back with a whole hand, you can see that it can cut you. Even the common machine, simple machine that we use as knife. When you are peeling something and then you're not careful, you cut your hand like I did the last time. If you can see what I have, this cuts, and I don't know, I was peeling something and then it was so sharp. Before I realized I was cutting my hand instead of cutting what I'm supposed to cut. Assuming that happens at workplaces, just because we have machines that are specifically meant for doing other things. So we are bound to have these little accidents, which is another disadvantage of what? Division of labor, which are resulting in specialization that has created machines for us. Now let's see another disadvantage, right? The disadvantage is that there is monotony. I want to listen to it very well. Monotony of work. Mono means you need single, right? Monotony means of work. What it means is that the worker will do one thing over and over again. Assuming you went home, and mommy says that your job for the house is to be cooking every day, cooking. Maybe you also want to do, when you are doing variety things, sometimes you don't become bored. So when you wake up now, oh yeah, I know I'm going to cook. Oh yes, I know I'll cook. It's so boring sometimes. If you have to go to work and then your particular job given to you is what you'll be doing every day for how many years? Every day you're going to be doing that until you go on pension. So every day you're doing the same thing over, and then you feel bored. So when you get to work, it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that same thing over again. Yeah, it's boring, but what will you do? So you see that once that begins to set in, it even goes to affect productivity because the worker is bored. When he goes into work and says, that thing I know I'll do it. So boring. Oh, I'm tired doing the same thing over again. Boring. So instead of the worker who should work, he's bored with what he's doing, and at the end, productivity will be affected and to be low. Why? Because the worker is bored with doing that job. And sometimes some people quit their job, not because of anything, because they are tired of doing the same thing over and over again. So they will say that, okay, we want to get something else, something different, and then something refreshing to do. They are tired of doing one thing over and over again. So it leads to monotony of work, right? So that is, I think that is my fifth disadvantages I've given. So let me mention the points again. If not, you can mention them for me to hear. Mention them for me to read. Right. I mentioned that what? Okay, so I mentioned one and said it leads to unemployment. Okay. And then it also leads to what? decline of craftsmanship or skills. It's also yes, loss of skills. Thank you, Sylvia. Hey, today I have to give you something today. I have to give me a thumbs up today. Okay. It also leads to what too much interdependency. Too much interdependence. Yes, it's too much interdependence, and it's also there is what the risk that is associated with what the use of machines, right? It's a risk that associated with using machines, right? So that is the fourth one, and then the fifth one is the monotony of work. So the worker becomes so bored, he doesn't want to work anymore. At the end, yes, monotony. Yes, Gloria says, thank you, Gloria. Hey, I didn't know you guys are there. You're not talking. Let everything on Sylvia, and then Frederica just popped by, and then I can't hear her. I can't read from her. Frederica, make sure you comment. I'm seeing most of you, but you are refused to comment. So at least the monotony of work. So it makes the worker bored. The worker lose interest in their job, so they don't work as hard as they used to be. For you to think that is to increase productivity. At the end, once they become tired of their job, doing their same job, you may lose that worker that will go, who has become specialized. That worker can just leave the job because he's tired of that same thing over and over again. Or probably you will see that worker will not be working as hard as he or she used to do. Right now, let me mention some of the questions I gave you. It's in the slide. So do you want me to, I can put the slides on right now, right? So let me know. So after the class, probably I forward the slides to you on the platform. Is that fine with you? That's fine with you. Let me know. Okay. So let's see some of the questions that were some of the past questions that I have stated here. So what's the private candidates 2011 question 7. So what those who are using another you can get WASI private candidate is WASI Novdec, yes, 2011 question 7. And then you can also get those in WASI May June or school candidates 2017. You can also get that's question 5, right? You can get questions on what you have done today. And then WASI private candidate, which is Novdec 2006 question 8. So this I've added a question, like these are sample of it. There are a lot of them in your past question books. So I told you that once you finish a class, try and go through the past questions and see how they look like. Okay, that will help you to refresh your memory on what you have done in class, so that once you have moved on for that topic, you know that you are done with the past question in that one. How for your WASI, you are going to get one A1, whether you like it or not, you are going to get it. So just try and go through the past questions. So I've added it to the slides for you, and I think mistakenly I put it in the middle of the slides, so you see it. So just go through those questions. There are a lot of questions in past questions too, so just go through them and then let's see. However, if you have any questions, let me know on the platform, right? Or right now, if you have any question, just let me know and let me address it. If there's any question pertaining to what we have done today, so let me quickly summarize what we did today. We did division of labor, that's a breakdown of production process into smaller processes, with which each process is handled by a worker or a group of workers. And we said that division of labor leads to specialization. We went to specialization. I'm too fast, right? Because I'm summarizing it. It's already in the listing. So we said specialization is the concentration of one's productive effort of an individual, a firm, or a country. So I made mention that it doesn't have to do with, it's not only human beings that do, or at home human beings do division of labor or specialization. Firms do it, countries also do it. For instance, let me just mention about something about a country doing the division of labor. That is natural. I think Ghana is the western region that we get a lot of gold from, right? So when a country wants gold, we target the western region, give us gold because your land gives us gold. Yeah. Hey, Gloria, you are now saying hi to Sylvia. Gloria, I want. So then if you can see that those who can give us salt, I think we should go to Adan, or is it Odan or Adan? Adan, yeah. So even in the country, you can do division of labor based on what you have the advantage of, right? And then we went to the differences that just the definitions can give you the differences. The definition of division of labor and that of specialization give you the differences, and then We mentioned, I think, 5 or 6 advantages which I've mentioned. I'm going to put on the platform so you read it yourself. And then we went to um, some of the disadvantages that we have, right? So, and don't forget to solve the past questions I've added to it. So if you solve it and you are having a problem, you let me know, okay? So if not, it means I'll meet you in the next class. So in the next class, we are going to do a whole new topic. So far, 2 topics done. You guys have done well. So keep it up and let's meet in the next class next week, same time, okay? Let's come at same time. Let's meet same time, and then make sure that those who have not paid. I'm saying it online for you. I've not mentioned your name online, so those who have not paid yet, please make sure you make my payment, okay? I need that one to be able to use to be cooling myself as I'm talking. So I'll see you in the next class. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, thank you for the hearts. Thank you. So I'll meet you in the next class. Until then, please, bye for now. I'm going to put the slides on the platform, as promised. Okay. Bye.